All right. Hey, what's up, everybody? We're here back to talk about 75 hard again. I'm Evans. We got Pat and we got David as well. And so this is a huge mental and physical challenge that we got going on. And today is we're talking about the first 4 weeks, or the phase one that we talked about last time. And this has been a big challenge so far. And we're going to talk about our progress, some of the struggles, some of the improvements that we've been seeing, the lessons that we've learned along the way. Uh, and so, if you want to learn about 75 hard or just see our progress, then we'll dive into it. So again, so we're 4 weeks in. What is 75 hard? Uh, it's 2 workouts a day. One of them has to be outside. They both have to be 45 minutes with a break in between. You got to drink a gallon of water every day. You got to follow a diet with no cheat meals, no alcohol. You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction self-improvement book every single day. You have to take a progress picture. And then if you miss any one of those, you start over day one. So Pat and I are both we're working towards those goals for 70, the real 75 hard, trying to get all that done over 75 days. But David had kind of made up a soft 75 for some other people to try to get different people included and get kind of a group going. And so I'm going to hand it over to him to remind everybody what those the 75 soft was that he was working on.
75 modified. There's nothing soft about this.
75 a week.
It is 75 modified. We just
Whatever you want
modified
to
it.
call it, man.
Yeah, whatever makes yourself feel better.
Hey, anybody that wants to do it, you try to do it, and you'll find out. It did sound easy. When we presented this to people at work, we have 11 people in this challenge, and it was funny because people were like, "Man, that's easy. I could do that first part." First part you're talking about, you do the progress you pick every day. But instead of having to drink a gallon of water, we only have to drink 2 liters of water. Instead of having to read 10 pages of book, I made it where you could either read 10 pages of a book or listen to a 30-minute podcast or audiobook. Also, the diet is strict. You still have to stick to your diet, but the alcohol, is because there's some people that like to drink socially, allowed it to be alcohol could be consumed, but it had to be social. You still have to do a 45-minute workout, but you only have to do one a day instead of two a day, and they can be inside, outside, whatever you want. We were actually somewhat lenient on that. Just get out and move. But I think Andy has it too. You'll get out of it what you put in it. And then, of course, we allowed 2 mulligans. For those who aren't familiar with mulligan is basically a do-over. So if you messed up one day, use a mulligan, and we'll just forget about it. You get 2 of those, and at the end of the 4 weeks, those are use or lose. So some people over the 4 weeks decided to use them wisely. And one of the guys actually said, because it's snowing outside, so I need a mulligan. I'm not sure why snow and a health challenge go together, but he's like, I'm eating. He wanted a cheeseburger, French fries, drinking some wine, and he didn't want to do any exercise. So any rate, that's the 75 modified phase one. Phase two gets a little bit harder. We'll discuss that in another podcast. And then phase three is going to be the full 75 hard. For those, if you don't remember, we're doing phase one, 28 days. It's 4 weeks. Started on a Monday, January 6th, and ended 4 weeks after that. So that's kind of where we're at on what this challenge is and what we're supposed to be doing. Y'all want to hear the results of who's
so before
in,
we
who's
jump
out
into
of
our specific our specific challenges and what we've been feeling, why don't you tell us what the group as a whole kind of looks like, how it's turned out over 4 weeks?
So I guess since I created this, I got to be bookkeeper of who had done
Overlord.
what, overlord of it. So we had 11 people. 11 people started this, and surprisingly to me, actually 8 people finished the phase one. We had one person who started on Monday, and by Friday went, I'm out. Too much stuff, too much work. Didn't really want to do all 5 things you had to do each day. I can understand where he's coming from. It becomes a lot trying to keep up with it every day. But he didn't say exactly what he failed in, other than he just didn't want to do it every day. We had a second person that failed. Um, she ate or she was on a diet that required no fried foods. She ate some fried foods one day, that took a mulligan. Another day she got sick, that hit a mulligan, and then the third day she just decided to take her family to Connors, and she didn't care what she was going to eat, and so she was out. So that was the second person that we lost. And the third person that we lost from the contest ate some crab rangoon, and after he did so, went, "Oh man, that's fried food." He was also on the no fried food diet. Um, Realized that he had done that. Another day he missed a selfie, and then a third day he never said what he ate, but he was at a restaurant, said no fried foods. They delivered it, he ate it, and then he realized that it was fried. It may have been hush puppies or something like that. Realized that it was fried food. So one of the things to take away from all this if is that we, especially Americans, I think we eat a lot of crap that we
Oh
shouldn't
yeah.
eat. Don't even think about it. We're just eating it. We got two people that on two different occasions ate some fried food and really didn't think about it until it was too late, and then they were out. So those are the three that did not make it to the through phase one. The other eight reported that they did make it. A couple of them used some mulligans. We had somebody that forgot to take a selfie. Somebody else actually picked when they wanted to use a mulligan, and like I said, they were snow day, so I guess they had a snow day from the challenge. Somebody else went out of town and took a mulligan, decided that he wanted to have some fun and eat what he wanted to do when he was on vacation. But the other days, he reported it was a challenge. So vacations are definitely a challenge in this.
Absolutely.
Um, Trying to travel, work your workouts in when you travel, because most people want to get up, throw the stuff in the car, and leave. You drive there. You sure don't want to get there and go, "Hey, honey, I got to go work out before we go and enjoy some time." So that was a challenge to him. Uh, Plus, when you're eating out, depending on your diet, so each person got to pick their own diet. But if you're trying to eat a quote unquote healthy diet where you don't have fried foods, here in the South, that takes away like what 95% of the stuff on a menu if you have no fried foods.
Absolutely. You got to be
Even the
very
vegan
careful.
stuff is fried. Yeah, I mean, even if you're eating vegan, I think is rice is allowed. Is that right, Pat? Pat, you can eat rice on a vegan diet
I mean, I don't really have a vegan diet, but I would assume you can eat rice.
or vegetarian. What about
Yeah.
vegetarian diet?
Yeah, yeah.
So you can eat
I eat
rice.
all
Well,
rice.
rice gets fried. There you go. Well,
Right.
then, I
Or
mean, you're out
tofu
there
gets
and you
fried.
get
There's a lot of things like that that I've been paying attention to the labels and double checking everything.
Yeah, you definitely got to look at what it's fried in, though, right? There's some oils and stuff.
Yep.
So I think jump in here is like I was one of those people who took a vacation during this and consumed a little bit of alcohol and a couple of things I shouldn't have, and ended up taking a mulligan. But to your point of like really traveling and planning that was the biggest mental game for me I think I've had so far in this first four
now. Wait
weeks
a
was
minute. You took hold on. You took a mulligan, but you're doing 75 hard.
yeah. So I had to restart 75 hard. So and
Okay, so
so
you didn't
actually
get a mulligan.
well, I mean, I'm still in your challenge. I'm in it
You
for
get a
I'm in
mulligan
it
in
to
our
win
challenge,
it.
but
Yeah.
75 hard, there's no mulligans. That's
Yeah,
that's the hard part.
no, you're right, and I think
Anyway,
there's actually been two or three times I think I'm on a third time restarting this. I think I've lost track. But I think I've experienced every color of the rainbow here with this is vacation, weather, and then being sick with actually the original 75 hard, and it's been pretty tough, but nothing as tough as taking that vacation. You get up early, you work out, and then you drive all day. for us, we went to Disney. So from Alabama, that's a long drive, and so we broke it up, and I think we got in around 9 at the first hotel that we stopped at, and I ended up having to do a workout at 9 or 10 after I unloaded the vehicle, and it wasn't fun. It wasn't something I wanted to do. And then almost went to bed uh, without realizing that I hadn't read my 10 pages. And so just really sticking that out and push pushing for it was not something I wanted to do. But at that point, I hadn't even listened to a podcast. So I would have failed even the modified 75 hard at that point. So it would have been a mulligan. And I knew I was pre-planning my mulligans for an alcohol day in Disney. So had one or two drinks there. But walking around those parks, definitely challenging to even try and find food to eat. First off, at Disney, so I did stick it out a little bit and ended up just bringing in my own food. And I think I only ate in the parks one time, but it was just a lot of protein bars and protein shakes. It should have been easy because I could have eaten, whenever I wanted if I was hungry, but it just got really old and boring the entire time. So I don't know. I know Evans has been doing it the entire time though. So kudos to you for
I
sticking
don't have, I
that
haven't
out.
had a vacation come up, but I know David already alluded to it, uh, and I know me and you shared some pictures back and forth. One of the big things that hit us about week 2 was weather.
Oh yeah,
We're all in
Yeah.
Huntsville, North Alabama, but we had I know one day when I checked on one of my outside exercises, it was 6 degrees. By the time I
yep,
got done, my eyelashes, my nose, I had icicles hanging off my hair from the sweat,
yep,
and we had about a week of that where it was single digits, and we were still had to, and we had snow one day, at least one day, and at least me and Pat were doing the real 75 hard. We were out there every single day getting it at some point or another, and some of the others did the same, and that was definitely a big challenge too.
yeah.
Uh,
I know when I came back from Florida, I think it was the day after we got back. It was 8 degrees outside, and that wasn't including the wind chill.
right.
And I went for a 45-minute run with
Yep.
just layered up was not fun. Not something I wanted to do at all, but yeah,
Yeah, that
definitely
was
taught
I've
something.
me.
stayed
It
inside.
was very heavy wind. Yeah, you
Jeez.
couldn't keep enough on to
Yeah,
to keep that wind
yeah.
from blowing in and
Yeah,
keeping you cold.
and Tuck over there working out in his heated
Heated
office.
living room, working, doing some cardio.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice. And we'll get to the outside ones eventually, but hopefully it'll be a little warmer. You can plan around it.
So what have
I
those
don't envy
workouts
y'all.
look like? Like what have you been what have you been working out? Have you just going to the gym or are you doing it all at home or like what is that?
Um, so pretty much every day I do a 45-minute workout. It's this virtual reality thing called Supernatural. It's like shadow boxing or Beat Saber. If you ever
Okay.
played Beat Saber, um, and again, it's one of those things. It's like, oh man, that's easy, no big deal. And by the end, you're sweating, you're hot, and I mean, it's not the biggest, baddest workout you could ever do, but for people that are out of shape, it's a good start. And then I throw in I do some weightlifting at the gym like twice a week, but not for 45 minutes, so it doesn't count. Um, Occasionally I walk. I think I played disc golf one time, and we counted that. And when I looked at that, this is part of the just get out and move. When I looked at that, I burned as many calories in my game of disc golf as I do when I go if I go run for 30 minutes or walk for 45 minutes. I actually walk further and burn more calories. You wouldn't have thought it'd be that way, but just get out and move.
Yeah, I definitely I'm struggling from an injury right now, so I'm used to doing a little bit more running, more high endurance. Um and just to get outside to walk, it's definitely a game changer to be in that element of not getting as many miles in as I was. For me, um not feeling like I was really pushing myself hard enough for this. So I've ended up walking 1 or 2 times outside and still trying to do my workouts in my gym, and just to get something extra. Um, but yeah,
The
that's
cardio? What are you doing in the gym? Cardio or weights?
just weights. Yeah, I do calisthenics now. I think I mentioned this in the first time we talked, was I was going to start mixing up my workouts a little bit. There's just not enough muscle groups on the body to do,
Yep.
one a day, two a day sometimes. If you go outside, got like a weighted vest, started incorporating some, I think I did it one time, was like some bear crawls and some jump ropes and stuff like that. Just really trying to mix it up, just because it's been difficult to find and manage muscle recovery with two workouts a day. So
There's no recovery in that. What have you
I,
done, Evans?
Yeah,
How do
same
you
thing,
do it
trying
two
to
a
mix it
day?
up. So there's a lot of different things. I've always walked the dog a lot, so I'm still walking him 2 times a day. Sometimes that's part of, doing a workout, and then that's like a little bit of a cool down at the end or something. But uh, mountain biking when I can, when it's below freezing, that's just, it gets too cold for mountain biking. So when I've been able to have done that, then have a Peloton bike. So doing, sometimes do the full 45-minute class, hour class in there, or do a 30-minute plus weightlifting, or 30 minutes plus walking or something like that. And then really didn't, do weightlifting before, but I've been adding a lot of body weight stuff, and then other kind of weightlifting things in, and that one's been a little bit of a struggle. There's been a couple exercises I do, and it's like, oh, I didn't realize I had some muscles in those places, and they're dying for the next 3 days, which makes even going for a walk the next day kind of tricky. But yeah,
definitely.
Those,
it's been fun.
those body weight things. I hear a lot of people. I talk to them about, the ones that came up with excuses. I can't do it. I don't have time. And I said, do body weight,
Yeah,
because they didn't have. They go, I don't have any equipment. I can't do anything. I said, here's some body weight exercises, and they're like, oh, body weight's easy. It's no big deal. And I've done some of those. And if you're not a weightlifter that regularly does it, you're not kidding. Those things. Does it not make you tired by the end
oh
trying to
yeah,
do?
yep.
It's
And that's another
it
one
just
where, if
depends.
you have kids and you're like, well, I still like spending time with the kids. I've been doing them, the ones when I do inside. Sometimes they jump in there and want to do that with me. And so you're, still hanging out with the family. It's not like you're spending 2 hours away outside of all your other work and everything going on.
Yeah, the kids have definitely been like a motivator pusher for that. You get down on the floor to do some push-ups or some sit-ups, and they're on your back, and
Uh-huh.
really, really, this was fun when you were 20 pounds, but I think you're you're getting a little heavier now,
Absolutely.
or maybe I'm getting a little weaker. I don't know. Um, so so I was actually looking at, I know this was I get a lot of hate from it, but I've never really done legs, never worked out my legs or anything. So that was really one thing I wanted to push myself in with this challenge, was actually start working in on the muscle groups. And then just some other goals that I've got for running is, when you start doing some research on really breaking down getting some faster 5Ks, 10Ks, and really working on your fast marathons. Um, there's nobody out there that's not doing leg workouts, at least to some point, right? If it's body weight or like the low level or low weights, light weights. So I think I've done that over the course of this 4 weeks. I think I've done 4 leg workouts, and haven't been able to walk up and down my stairs after the next day.
Yep.
So and I did not know it was going to be like that, because I do put a lot of miles in on my legs. I thought I'd be able to handle it, but that is not the truth. So it's been eye-opening for me, to to see where I'm not physically fit.
Yep. So with all
um
with all the workouts, uh, Pat, you've always been in good shape the whole time I've known you. But any kind of changes that you're seeing, getting leaner, more definition, or I know you said you nursed an injury too, but any kind of endurance gains, or still
yeah,
too early to tell?
so I think the one thing that was funny is, yeah, I think I've lost quite a bit of weight actually. So a little bit on that. I was like, after Christmas, I let my weight go up really around that time because I knew we were going to be starting, and I just wasn't worried about this,
Same,
right?
same,
You
yeah.
know, I've always had my body weight's always been around I fluctuate, right? Like 165 to 168, something like. There's always been like a 3 pound delta there. And so, but I let my body weight get up to about 173. And So the biggest thing for me is I'm almost at, I think I'm almost at 160 now. So if you take from where I've started out, I'm down that 13 pounds. Of course, it's going, it goes up and down depending on the activity that I do. But I will say that I have noticed I've never had abs before in my life, right? Where I do feel like cutting out that sugar, even though I'm doing the same amount of activity, um, it is a game changer. I just feel like no weight sticking to me. I really feel like my body weight or my body fat is trickling down. So definitely seeing some benefits there. What about y'all?
What you, Tuck?
Um, definitely getting some change. I've lost 11, 12 pounds, so that's been a pretty good result on it. It's I wanted to mention because a lot of people weren't sure about body weight workouts, and I was thinking of one of them that is actually difficult, and you do it. Um, you can do basically 4 rounds, just to give people an idea of what is the body weight workout, because not everybody really knows what those are. But you do 4 rounds, and like for the first round, which is you do a round, each round is 1 minute, which sounds like a long time, and it is in the first round or two couple, but those minutes come much faster once you start to get tired. It's like the first minute you can do 5 sit-ups and 5 V-ups, which is just 10 reps. No big deal. You can do those. You got 20, 30 seconds rest. Then you may do like 5 push-ups and then 5 push-ups. 10 push-ups, I can knock those out pretty quick. You may do like 5 or 10 lunges, and then you do 5 squats, and then five jump squats. So you do one set of or one round, not a round, but you do 5 reps of something easy and 5 hard. Um, by the time you get to like the 40th minute, and you've done basically 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups, and there's not a lot of break. All of a sudden, it takes you 50 seconds to get those 10 push-ups in and done, and you've only got 10 seconds to go. So that doesn't give you much of a rest, and then you've got to go into the next exercise. So the body weight ones really do get to you. Again, I'm not pretending somebody that does CrossFit 4 times a week, they're not going to get a whole lot out of the body weight. But for those of us that are just amateurs at this, um, get a lot. And so just from the eating and the little bit better eating, and I don't go around hungry, and the 45-minute exercise, like I said, lost about 11 to 12 pounds, depending on what day. It fluctuates. So I think it's a pretty good result.
Now, you go back to that weight. I wanted to talk about this. Was I think Evans and I both got a stomach bug during this, and I wanted we talked a little bit in a text back and forth, but I never got your like face to face what how that experience was. But I know that first day for me, um, that was one of the resets I had on 75 hard was during that stomach bug. I could not drink water.
Yep.
So, and I think I only did one. No, did I finish? I think I finished the water actually. I think I failed because I couldn't do the second workout.
Yep.
It took everything in my body to go walk the neighborhood. And I look back at that activity and I think I was walking like a 30-minute mile or something.
Yep.
I was dragging my body across the neighborhood. So what did you have the same experience? Did you
Yep.
what was going on?
So kind of lucky, both. I really had it 2 days was really bad. But both days when I woke up, it was just a little off. So I was able to go get my first workout done. I always do that early, and I always start chugging water early too. So uh, I'd kind of got halfway through some of the hard parts when you're sick those 2 days before it really hit me. But then both days around lunch it hit me bad, and the first day I was able to get out and walk, and it was the same thing. It was, I was just barely getting by, going slow, but I was still like pouring sweat. I had a high fever, so I was having chills, but I was pouring sweat, and thought I was going to throw up the whole time I was walking. But I went ahead and did it. And then the second day, I still had about a liter of water left. I hadn't read. I had to do my next exercise, and both days, anything I had ate, it was out. Like
Yep.
I
Yep.
couldn't keep anything down. So I texted you guys and I was like, I'm done. Like I'm gonna take the mulligan to be and David's thing, and I'll have to reset on 75 hard. And this was for me pretty close to 4 weeks, and so y'all both were kind of give me the nudge of like, hey, you still got time. Get out there, just do something. Get the 45 minutes in, finish the water. Uh, that it doesn't matter how sick you are. And I kind of go start in my head too of like, if I don't do this, then I had the same thing as y'all. We've got tons of vacations planned. It's like it's only going to get harder if you don't do it, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna, I'll regret it the next day if I feel better. And so that's what I did. I just got out, same thing, walked. I think I might have hit 2 miles in the 45-minute walk, but I was out of breath, feeling sick, sweating. So uh,
I don't know how
you
you hit 2 miles. Looking back, I thought I hit like 1.2 or
know,
something. I could not move.
yeah,
But like you talk about the text of that motivation is kind of where my headspace was, because I think you got it right after I got sick, and I beat myself up the next day. I felt like garbage, but I beat myself up because if I could have just went out and walked for
yep,
15 minutes or just did something like, we joked a little bit about, just do some Pilates or something, do dead
yeah,
man plank or something,
yeah.
just lay on the
Corpse
ground.
pose with yoga,
Corpse
yeah.
pose, yeah,
Yep.
just lay there. I call that my 45-minute workout, but I couldn't do it. But I think a little bit of the mind game for me too was my stomach bug hit middle of the night, 2 a.m. or something, and so I was up that entire night, and I had to work the next day. So pushing through some of that was just there was a lot going on between work and no sleep, and of course I don't know how you handled it, but I don't think I ate for, I think it was like 4 or 5 days afterwards. So I was constantly struggling with energy and motivation to get those two workouts in. Um, and so that was kind of one of the other things I wanted to talk to y'all about, is like doing the 75 hard even to a detriment, right? Where it's not benefiting you in any way. If I'm working out and I've got 0 calories in my body and
Yeah.
I'm not getting protein afterwards, am I just doing my body more harm than I am good? And then there's oftentimes, like when I'm not sick, right? Just the normal 75 hard, um, drinking water. Is it really beneficial to drink a gallon of water every day? Like how much is your body really processing? I know like if I go do a longer run, then yeah, I probably need to rehydrate, but it's not every day. So what, like, is there a benefit to this in some way, or is it just all mental?
Yeah, I think the
There's
mental
it's
part.
mental.
Yep.
It's just mental. And
No, no, it's not just mental. I mean, the water. There's I don't know. I'm not a doctor to understand it all, but I mean, the water. As you drink the water, it's flushing stuff out of your system. That's good. You're rehydrating. I mean, if you do two 45-minute exercises, you're going to need some more water. Everything I've read says you're supposed to have like what 8 cups a day, which is 64 ounces. That's half a gallon. Well, that's just if you're just existing. So if you're doing some exercises, you need more. I do agree that the gallon of water is hard. Can't say that there's tons of benefit for 1 gallon versus 3/4 of a gallon. I will argue 100% that those hard days when you're sick and you get out and you do what you're supposed to do, it builds up something in you that benefits you in your entire life, not just in health, but um, you know, so you don't feel good and you're having a sick day, and so you give up and you don't exercise. Is that what you're going to do in your marriage when you're having a fight with your wife? You're like, is it worth it? I just give up. What about your job? Do you happen to have a job that like nothing ever goes wrong? That it's just
It's always
happy
perfect.
every day? So what do you do? The truth is, there's a ton of people out there that they quit. That's what they do. When their boss yells at them or they feel like they've been disrespected, they quit their job and they go get another job. Well, that job disrespects them and they quit it. Uh, you see the same thing with marriages where they feel like that it's just too hard and let's give up. It's just going to be, the easy thing is to sit here and do nothing. The easy thing for y'all to do would have been lay on the couch, watch Oprah, drink some Sprite, and then go to bed. And that's the easy thing to do. Uh, but you're in doing this, you're teaching yourself how to get through those real hard times. Um, and it has to be daily because it's too easy to say, I feel sick, so I'm not going to work today. And that everybody would understand that. But then the next day you don't feel great. And then the day after that, you're still recovering. And well, now you're out of this momentum. And let's start now talking ourselves out of doing anything. Well, now it's Friday and the weekend's not good to reset. And Monday's hard. And, we're back to our old habits. Andy talks about momentum a lot. And it's true. I'm a streaky kind of person. If I'm on a streak, I hate breaking that streak. Once I break
Absolutely.
that streak, I'm like, it's no big deal. But I just feel like if I've worked out 45 minutes every day for 90 days, well, I don't want to start back at one. So let's do 91. One of the things that I think we need to do is don't quit on a bad day. I read or I've watched and read a lot of people talk about hiking the AT, and the ones that are successful always say, "Don't quit on a bad day." For the hiking the AT, that's like a day where it's 35 and wet, and everything's wet. When you get to camp, it's cold and it's never dry. So don't quit on those bad days. So that was kind of what with Evans, it's like, hey, don't quit on a bad day. Finish the day out. If you want to quit tomorrow, you can. But most of the time, if you'll finish today out, tomorrow will be a little easier. And hey, you made it through the hardest part. Next day's easier. Don't quit on a bad day. And life is always going to have something hard, and that's what makes people different. Is the ones that go, I see it's hard. I'm still going to work. I'm not calling in sick every time there's a sniffle. I'm not quitting my job because I got a new boss that I don't like, or you know they change the rules on you. I'm not quitting just because my wife yelled at me, and I'm unhappy with that or something like that. Whatever it is, so that's what it teaches. It's mental. Is there physical benefits? Absolutely, some physical, but I don't know if a gallon of water has a physical benefit. Um, I'm sure there's something, but it's a mental. And I don't think a gallon. It's not like you're. I mean, it's not like you're drinking that gallon of water is torture. It's not fun, but it's not torture.
No, I definitely have some ups and downs with it. It depends on the amount of food I eat with it, and it makes it go a little bit easier. But the water, even by itself, is not near as hard as it was in the beginning after these 4 weeks or whatever we've had. Actually, I kind of started a little earlier trying to prepare for it. So even before the workout, I was like, I'm gonna start drinking a gallon of water just to get used to it. Oh, that was also fun on the road trip, was trying to consume a gallon of water, and and that was not fun. So a lot of
Every so you know what every rest stop between here and Disney.
I, know-
Can you tell whether they were clean or not? Because you
yeah,
stopped at all of them.
I should have left Google reviews for all of them. Said this is good for 75 hard. Have like the little Tesla roadmap where you can stop on your trip. No, that was it was definitely harder during that than it was anything else. But the other thing I guess I will say about water is there's a lot to it. Going into the office, going on vacation, um, you may not necessarily have like a lot of water refill stations. I know I don't like drinking the water at work,
Yeah.
so I bring in a lot of water. So I bought like, or I found a half gallon water jug, and then I have my quarter gallon, which is what I drink daily. So coming up with little tricks like that to have my water on me, because I found if I didn't have it, um, there was like a sense of angst of like, oh, how am I gonna go get this? Do I need to go to the store and go buy some water bottles, or do I just drink the nasty water that's available? Am I gonna go into the bathroom and fill it up so I can, throw that up later? So definitely like a strategy, right, is needed to be able to complete some of these activities daily.
What's the
And
hardest one? Do you think the hardest activity of all? There's five of them. What's the hardest activity to complete?
man, I really don't like that second workout. I really do not. I'm the type of person I'll go run for 3 hours, but I'm doing it one time. And I think I talked about this in the first time we talked was um I really get stuck in a routine, right? And it doesn't seem like a big deal to a lot of people, but I like to wake up. I like to, get my caffeine, go work out. And then when I'm done working out, I'm done working out. I can check that off my list. I get my shower, I'm ready to go for the day. And if I need to be done earlier, I'll get up earlier, 4 or 5 a.m., whatever, get it done. And so it's really been, I I think for me, harder to adjust to that waiting an hour afterwards. Because as soon as you get done with that 45-minute workout or whatever you do, right? And sometimes I'll, work out a little bit longer, or run a little bit longer. You got to stop. And then life gets in the way. Like you're throwing kids around, you're cleaning something up, you're working, and then you gotta think about when is the next time I can put 45 minutes into this routine. And I think for me that's definitely been the hardest. What about you, Tuck?
Evans.
Oh,
I'll
Evans.
go with Evans.
Yeah.
He's
I
he's
think it
doing the
kind of
75 hard.
I think it depends on the day. A lot of mine's the same thing as what Pat's saying. That's that second workout, same thing. I get up early, do one, you get showered for the day, and then, sometimes it's, 9, 10 o'clock at night. I'm like, just getting home from doing something, and it's like, oh, I got to do a workout. And so you're like, you get all sweaty, and then like you have to take another shower, or and you're just tired from the day. And then other days, if I get that second workout in like early afternoon or something, sometimes the same thing. If you're tired, like that reading the 10 pages, you're like laying in bed and you're like, I haven't done my pages yet, and it's just like I just rather go to sleep. But it's mostly been the workout, but the book sometimes that one sometimes sneaks up on me, and I remember it last minute.
I will say the book has got me a couple of times, but I think that second workout got me too. It just if you talk about the last time that we talked or we did this, um, when we got done, I realized I had not done my second workout. And
Yep.
it's well, okay, it's 10:30 at night. I'm an old man, like I'm going to bed at 8:30, and so there's been a couple of times where yeah, I didn't want to do it, but definitely sticking it out. So
But
you talk about the book late at night. That's been kind of the best thing for me that I didn't think I would like, but have kind of fallen in love with because I kind of put my phone down, and you don't realize how much the blue light or the TV or something at night affects you. I try to make that 10 pages the last thing I do at
Okay.
night, so it kind of like wind down. Have either one of you experienced anything like that?
I've been trying to do mine, uh, when we're all just sitting in the living room, the kids are watching something on TV, and then I'll pull out the book there. So I haven't been most of the time. I try to get it done early, but maybe that is something I should do because yeah, the blue light definitely affects me when watching TV or something before bed.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just don't read.
Yeah.
Now,
I didn't before this either.
So the easiest thing has been the 30-minute book podcast because I listen to audiobooks all the time. So when I drive to and from work, 30 minutes. And so I haven't read a lot. Um, but I started doing it a little bit and was reading David Goggins' book, Can't Hurt Me. And like, all right, let me start doing this just to prepare kind of the practice for phase two. And found out that I really do enjoy reading. It's been a long time since I read just for fun. I used to read when I was a kid, and I do enjoy it. I don't do it at the very, very end of the day. Um, but I when I do, it's usually in the evenings. I will tell you that the hardest thing for this has been the diet. The easiest thing to forget has been the selfie, the stupid progress pic. That was just, I mean, there's been a time or two where I panicked, went, oh man, I didn't take one yesterday, and I looked, and oh good, I did. Um, I just didn't remember it. But that diet, um, and I'm gonna ask y'all in a minute what your support at home is. Uh, I got a wife and one kid still at home, and they didn't really want to go on this adventure with me. When I was telling them about it, my daughter, I think she had a panic attack. No more McDonald's. What are we going to do? What do you mean no McDonald's? So obviously I haven't raised her right on that part where we can do without fast food. Um, but man, it was just tough where uh, I didn't want to punish them and say, all right, throw away every chip, every drink, soft drink, every cookie, cake. You can't have anything. I didn't think it was fair to them. It would make them healthier, but not really what I call fair. And so it was tough seeing a bag of chips sitting there, and I'd reach for them and go, "What? Nope, I can't have it." Work is awful because at work there is junk food everywhere. Somebody's birthday, somebody's retirement, something. They got cupcakes, cakes, cookies, everything. And um, I didn't think that I had a really bad diet until I started sticking to this and realized how many times I was starting to reach for a Mountain Dew or reach for a cookie and went, nope, can't have. Wow, man, that's like the eighth time in 3 days that I've reached for something I shouldn't have and had to stop myself. So that was I would say that's the hardest part. The 45-minute workout's not bad. Yeah, I look forward to that because it's kind of a game. Um, the water was tough sometimes. The only thing tough about that is going to the bathroom all the time. But other than that, um, wasn't as tough. And then it was the diet. The no alcohol is easy. I don't drink, so that was easy. I wish that was the only part of the diet. Uh,
Just give up alcohol.
it's like, let's trade alcohol for soft drinks. Let me have my Mountain Dew back, and I'll, no alcohol. But no, it's both for me. It's both. But that's been the toughest part. But I've started reading. It's pretty cool. Like there's a quote from Goggins that I was going to share. I thought was really cool, and it kind of pertains to this. And what he says is that every day is a 24-hour mission. Goggins, if you're not familiar with him, he was a Navy SEAL. He said the point is to keep up a championship pace, not for a season or a year, but for your entire life. So for this challenge, every day is a 24-hour mission. So every day you have to get up and do these 5 things. That's it. That's your mission for the next 24 hours. And you got to keep up that pace. And he's crazy, just absolutely insane. If you ever read about him, what he's done. But I thought that was really good that like if we wake up each day going, what is today's mission? What do we need to do? And we're just doing these 5 things. but what if we added something else to that was maybe beneficial towards work? What maybe once these are ingrained habits, what if you added, uh, every day I'm going to spend 10 minutes learning a new language, or I'm going to spend 10 minutes on, if you're in management, how to manage people better. Now all of a sudden we're improving that.
But you're kind of getting
What if,
into, some of the later phases of the
yeah,
of Andy's True 75 Hard program,
it
where you
does.
do the same thing, but you add more pieces in there.
It does, but so it's still good though.
Yeah,
He has more phases that are ridiculous to try to do. He has 70. It's not 75 hard. It's live hard.
yeah, yeah.
But what if you spent 10 minutes each day on your marriage? I mean, what happened to the divorce rate if we did that? Like every day, you were required to spend 10 minutes with your wife or husband doing something to improve your marriage. Um, Probably if you had to talk for 10 minutes, you might increase the divorce rate on the short term.
Well,
But
I was gonna say if your spouse, your significant other's bringing home cookies while you're doing a workout, it might increase that divorce
oh my
rate.
gosh, yes. Um, yeah, on one hand, I get zero support. Oh, I'm wondering what y'all get for support at home. On one hand, I get zero support because like she's popping open Mountain Dews and I just want to kill her. And on the other hand, she is like, hey, let's go eat. Where can you eat? So she is at least aware. She hasn't gotten past the fact that I can have sugar. I just can't have like candy and cake and stuff like that. Because I can't remember what it was. I was having something, and she's like, "That's got sugar in it." I said, "Well, I can have sugar. It just needs to be somewhat limited." And that it's there's certain things I can't have, but just because it has sugar in it doesn't make it a no no. So, anyway, what kind of support are y'all getting? Like, are your spouses and kids are like, "Hey, let's do this for dad," or are they like, I know you're doing this. I respect it, but I am not on this journey with you.
What you got, Evans?
Yeah. So I mean, a little mixture. So I mean, what we'll do is if we're going out to eat, we usually do pick a place like that I can get something from. Like if we're getting to go, order steak out so I can get steak and a potato, and then just let them have the extra roll that's on mine, or I can get rice and vegetables and chicken or something, but they're still eating chicken fingers and French fries from places. But it's one of those ones where I actually thought this would be much harder, but it's one where it's like I'm not gonna give in to that. Like part of it's because of you guys, being there with me, and it's like I'm not gonna lose over something silly like French fries. Uh, but then other parts, I really like the flavored chips, so like dill pickle, salt and vinegar, stuff like that. And so the rest of my family doesn't. So and then I love Mountain Dews. The rest of my family doesn't. So I just had all that was gone before Christmas. I either ate it or I threw it away in the house so that by the time I started, it just wasn't here. And then on the other hand, like if we go out to eat, me and my wife like to get a margarita. So she's given up on that so that it's not like she's got this, delicious looking margarita sitting in my face where I want to take a sip. Uh, so she's given, she's helped in some ways, but then in other ways that they're doing their thing and doing it in a way where I can do mine.
Yeah. So I kind of got like a similar experience to Evans, I guess. My household is so different, diet wise. It's not even funny. We've been this way almost the entire time I've been married. Um, we really don't even eat the same food, other than what I've converted my wife to with like more tofu and less meat. Yeah. So, um, but I will say what has changed a lot in my mindset. So I guess to answer your question of the support group is it's kind of the same that it's always been, just because I've always just kind of had my meals, and my family's just eating, what they eat. We try to eat together, but doesn't always happen, right? But you're gonna eat your chicken fingers and your French fries, your taquitos, and I'm gonna eat my tofu mush over here. And I'll roll
What
it.
about the ice cream? I know you're an ice cream lover. Is there still
So
ice cream in the house?
so I maybe did it right or didn't do it right. I don't know. At the, at Christmas when when I just kind of let myself go, where I'll eat a gallon of ice cream. I did that for a couple of days in a row where I ate a bunch of ice cream back to back. But I think I didn't want it anymore. I think I had been worried about, even though I'm an active person, really what I was putting in my body. I think we talked about this last time, was eating all the impossible meat and all the ultra processed, like all these plant-based things. Am I really doing myself any good? I'm saying, hey, I want the flavor and I want the protein, but there's other ways to get good flavor and protein that's going to be better for you. So I had been in that headspace for a little while, even before you talked about doing this 75 hard. As you know, I had never heard of 75 hard before you two started talking about it. And so I think I was kind of postured and prepared for this in a different way, where I was ready to give up some of those things. But one thing, I will say is that really, really changed my mind on my diet was reading that Eat and Run by Scott Jurek. That I borrowed that book from Evans, and I didn't know I liked reading so much. I think, I was only
without the
supposed to.
pictures.
Yeah, exactly. It's a pop up. Uh, I I think, I think on average I was reading 20 or 30 pages a day. I couldn't put that book down, and I don't know why. I think he's really good at I think he's really really good at writing and conveying his point, and he told a great story in that. But there was also that point where I was able to connect with him because I've been wanting to train for an ultra. I've done a couple marathons. I've really wanted to step up my game and do that ultra. Um, but I wanted to do it on my diet. I didn't want to start eating meat. I didn't want to start eating what you'll normally see in a lot of diets, even though a lot of those people are really skinny and in really good shape. But um, I've been catering my diet more towards kind of Scott Jurek's lifestyle, right? And that I'm not going quite crazy with the vegan stuff. I still like my cheeses and my stuff like that. I still drink a lot of milk, but um, it's definitely played a game in I would eat fish every now and then. I was more of a pescatarian than I was a vegetarian, but I think now I've kind of taken that hard stance on I don't really want any of this fish. I don't want the tuna that I'm eating or whatever. So that's been eye-opening for me, is trying to redo that diet and make it's a little bit more extreme than I even was before. But y'all talking about eating out, we've pretty much just stopped eating out. There's nothing I can eat or want to eat um, unless I really make it from home. So I know,
Well,
we'll
so what are
treat
you going to
ourselves.
hold on? So on that, what is your plan? Because one of the things I've said is that you need to do things that you can do forever. Um,
Exactly.
a lot of people can do. I can diet for 75 days and basically live off 1,500 calories and be hungry every day. I also know that I'm not going to be hungry for the next 40 years and be happy. So that's not like that. That just let's diet like that doesn't work. You're sitting there saying you can't eat out. So is your plan that you and your wife and kids just won't ever eat out, or you're going to only eat out like once every month or two? What is your,
Well, I
you know,
have no,
what are you
yeah.
going to do?
Well, I have no goal, right? Well, I think I'm just kind of, it's more fluid in that, where I go back to some of my previous statements of where I was postured to be prepared. Like I wanted a lifestyle change. It wasn't just about a 75-day challenge for me. I wanted to give up that ice cream. I don't want to sit on the couch, watch anime, and eat literally a half a gallon of ice cream with probably 12 cups of milk. Like it's not healthy. It's not something I want. So I would, I was prepared for that. Um,
What about
but
the restaurant?
but
Which
long but long
long term?
term, long term, I mean, I I have been successful where even if we go out to eat, I even did this when I was in college, that poor college student where if I was going to a restaurant with friends or somebody, I wouldn't eat, I would eat before. Um, but I will say that I'm just not as hungry. I'm definitely not as hungry as I was before when I was eating all the sugars and the can like I think I've sent y'all pictures before where my desk is just covered in Snickers, right? Where I'm just eating and that's all I'd have for that day. Um I don't crave it now. I don't want it. And I don't know if it's because I'm drinking so much water that I'm just if I put one more thing in my stomach then I'm gonna die. Um but I don't crave the ice cream and I don't eat as much food. I don't know that I've even went back for seconds more than just a couple of times, like getting a second meal um throughout the, at a meal in forever. I know I didn't do it today and I've only eaten, once or twice light. Um and I think I've went from that too to like I think you said last time, Tuck, where you didn't know you were eating 3,000 calories or more, right? I was probably eating more than I even realized, 3 to 4,000 calories, and I didn't need it. And I think measuring what I eat every bite I take, I'm calculating it, and I'm very rarely going over that 1,500 mark or that, a lot of times it's that 9 to 1,200 mark that I'm eating. And I know that my activity's gone down a little bit, like nursing this injury, so I haven't been running as much, but it's been something that I think I could maintain indefinitely. I think, at least I would like to think that I could.
I've noticed the same thing. Again, I don't know if it's the water or if it's the thing where you're eating that bad food that kind of puts your body in a different state that maybe it was making me hungrier. But like when we're going out, I'm not ordering like the large plate anymore. It's like if they have a small portion, like I'm good with that. Even if it's something that meets the diet, but it's still where like it's like, well, I don't need the huge meal. Uh, so I've seen the same thing, and when I still have to like, you just still get the craving for like a certain snack, but then when I make my bowl of yogurt with fruit instead, a lot of times I make it, and it's like I don't even, I eat some of it, and it's like, well, I'm not really hungry for the whole thing. So I've seen the same thing.
So have you modified your diet at all during this to like start cutting other things out that you didn't even realize?
So I had like I think I talked about what I had on the list, like no fried food, no like takeout pizza, no sweets, but it has also been where I avoid, you know, all the bread except for, like if you get the like uh whole grain seed, like the bread, like bread with seeds in there and different things like that that are a little better, that don't have all the added stuff in there, like more real ingredients. So I have been definitely focused on getting that kind of thing and uh, avoiding more of the kind of fake foods. So yeah, definitely a kind of craving like the real food, that knowing I'm getting like the good nutrients because I am taking in less.
Yeah, I think I'm going a little bit harder on myself than I was in the beginning is or my diet was more just calorie based and then trying to cut out, the snacks and then the ultra processed food. At least some of what I could determine was ultra processed food. Um, but now, I think we talked about it when I was on that road trip. I didn't eat a meal, right? We were in the car for 10 hours. So I ate a couple bags of chips, right? Like the family size, and I think you called me. I was like, "Why are you eating those?" Right? And so I think doing 75 hard, it I could have just kept doing that because it didn't matter. But then I was okay restarting after getting. Well, I think I missed it when we drove back. Right? I missed some water. Um, and I was okay restarting it because I thought I really don't want that in my diet. I don't want that to have been included in this challenge. And now I was okay with things like store-bought pizza, like you just throw it in the oven. I mean, I'm only eating cheese pizza anyway, so what's really going to be bad in that? And we had that the other night, and I got to thinking, should that really be included in this? Should I also try and go get a bread machine, or go get a bread machine, try to make my own pizzas, so that I'm not dealing with that. So that
I have
may
a
be
bread
the
machine.
yeah, something, I don't know, I think that's my thought was like, I think I could even step this up to make it the next level, and then I really wouldn't want to go out to eat. Like I do think that that food tastes better than going to Domino's or Pizza Hut or something like that. It's not better than Costco or Sam's Pizza, but it's gonna be close.
There's an adjustment. I'm I'm not at y'all's level, and I think I'm more of probably your general population. Not trying to be vegan, vegetarian, that kind of thing, but um, some of the things I've had to adjust was went to Big Papa Gyros, and I'm not allowed. The only bread I'm allowed to have is wheat bread. And when you ask them if they have wheat bread, you know they don't based on the look you get. That's a goofy question. So I had a Philly cheesesteak, which I'm not going to say is the healthiest, but it was allowed um, with no bread. And when I got done, amazingly, I was full. And then I went to the Mexican restaurant, and we discussed uh, ad nauseum, I believe, about whether or not a tortilla is bread or not bread. It's Mexican bread. But in the end, I went safe and said, let me just get the fajitas. And I had no tortilla. So I just had the pepper and onion and the meat that they had. And I didn't even have rice because I was debating on whether the rice was considered fried foods or not. I didn't have it. I ate that and I was full. And so it's been amazing how things fill me up. And before I would have eaten that plus the bread. And not all bread is bad. I'm not going to try to say that, but and switching to wheat, my craving, the honey wheat was something I craved, and after a couple of weeks, I don't crave it anymore. The whole wheat works better. It's not as sweet, and so I don't even crave the whole wheat like I did. So it helps me with my snacking and instead of having two sandwiches, I have one and I'm good with that. So there's some adjustment. I'm not giving up eating now. My wife, I probably would leave me if we don't go out to eat at least some. It's one of her favorite activities. Um, so I want to adjust. I want to be able to go to places. We have adjusted and not going to the fast food restaurants, and I actually like that. I think we can stick with that. I think long term we can stick with that. I mean, that food it tastes great, but every time you eat it, you're like, man, I don't feel very good. Well, that's because of all the crap they put in it and all the grease they cook it in. So uh, it's not healthy. We've been going about an hour, so I'd love to. I got one more question I wanted to ask y'all. Then we kind of wrap it up. But as you're doing this, obviously people that you're working with and your friends are seeing this. Your family knew about it. They knew about it going in, but it's going to be different. People are seeing you eat different. They're seeing you drink more water. Um, you're talking about having to go exercise. What are your friends, coworkers, that kind of thing? What kind of reactions are you getting from them?
I think my family, my friends, they know who I am, right? I'm preaching everything I do, right? If I started running 5 years ago or however long, it's like, hey man, you just gotta get out there and run. You just gotta go do it, right? Or when I gave up meat and I was like, you should feel so much better if you don't eat meat, right? So I've always like, I'm gonna apostatize you and everything that I do. So this is just another thing on the list. I think my family just knows I'm crazy. My friends know I'm crazy, and I'm just talking about it the same way I talk about anything else. So I don't think it's any I don't think it's any surprise for them.
Yeah.
What about
I,
you,
I
Evans? What are your friends and family doing? Same.
So yeah, my family, we try to have family dinners with both sets of our parents, and so they ask me like what the diet is that I can eat, and then they are adjusting to it and making sure that it fits. My grandmother had her 93rd birthday, and they had cake, but then my mom had texted me before and was like, what can I have there so that you could be eating something as well, and it's not just awkward sitting there. So that's been good, and then friends and coworkers, things like that. I feel like they've all been super supportive and ask about it and get updates when we're going to lunch. A lot of times I'm going to work at the university with a lot of the guys, so we're going to the cafeteria, and the great thing there is they have a ton of options. Now they're all still eating the cake and cookies as dessert afterwards, or Wednesday's fried chicken day. They're all eating that, but it's I can get my salad or get something healthy there and just eat with them, and it's been good.
Yeah.
Wings, French fries, and a Mountain Dew sounds real
Yep.
good right about now.
Yep.
I'm not sure that's ever going to go away because that's stuff that I don't crave it all the time, but I'm not sure that it's ever going to go away. But at any rate, so what you got any closing thoughts, Evans?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those ones where we've been going on for a few weeks, and I feel like I'm getting the hang of it. But there's still definitely those cravings. There's still those days that's going to be challenging. So a lot of challenges still coming up, and the same for you as you're going into the next phase of the modified, where you got to step it up and keep making progress. But I've learned just get up and do it, keep pushing on. Don't don't second guess. Just make sure you get out there and do it, and get some of these things early, like the water. Just make sure you keep pushing forward. And at this point, I feel like it's become kind of my habits, and it's something I'm excited about keep doing.
Yeah.
Pat, what kind of closing thoughts you got?
I got the same. You just knock it out early. I think, every morning I wake up, I'm drinking a quarter a gallon. I'm chugging a quarter gallon of water,
Yep.
whether I want to or not. Well, that'll actually be an interesting thought after when we get done with this workout, how much weight I lose from not drinking water on top of that, because I probably got 10 pounds of water on me. But no, just knock it out early and commit to it, especially as you get, I think you're moving into the second phase of modified 75 hard. You're going to start approaching that gallon of water. So it's going to start hitting a little bit harder. Yeah, it's going to start hitting a
I'm
little bit harder. So
not excited about that at all.
knock it out
Nope.
early. Knock it out early.
Um,
So
and one other book I kind of close with this is that was a book by it's Endure by Cameron Haynes. It's a pretty good book, but one of the quotes and reading the books, I think it's important you get some good quotes, some good
Yes.
thoughts. And one of his quotes is "Nobody cares, work harder."
Yep.
And it kind of it does pertain with this challenge, but just in life in general, if you go into work and the baby was up keeping you up all last night, nobody cares. Work harder. You had to fight with your wife or your husband before you went to work. Nobody cares. You just got to work harder. And with this challenge, we're on a special diet. Nobody cares. Work harder. You gotta go do your workout tonight because you didn't do it in the morning, or you did one in the morning. You got to do another one at night. Nobody cares. Work harder. And so I really like that quote. I mean, people do care about you. He's not saying that, but as we always want to make excuses of why we don't do things, why things aren't going our way, what we need to do, that kind of thing. If you just realize, everybody's got their own issues, and so comes to yours, nobody cares. Work harder. So that's what we got. For those of us that are in the 75 modified, getting ready we're starting phase two. Phase two becomes 3 liters of water. Phase two is we have to have 3 of the workouts during each week have to be outside. Now we have to actually read 10 pages of a book. No more podcasts, no more audio books. For those that do drink, they can still drink socially, but it's got to be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, weekends only. No more weekday drinking, even if it's with somebody. And the two mulligans that you had, if you didn't use them, they're gone. Now you got one mulligan, you get one mistake. Valentine's Day is through this phase, so if somebody wants to save it for that or their mistake, so that's all. That's all I've got. I think this has been a pretty good podcast. Appreciate everybody listening. But until next time, we're out.